Carol Kalimnik. I just got to know Carol fairly recently. I know she was a neighbor of Ellen Hart that some of you might know. And I heard really good things about her from Ellen, what a good neighbor she is. And I was involved with her. One of her neighbors was on the brink of being thrown out of her house. And Carol did an on-the-spot terrific job organizing. I think we saved the house for her for a little while, but I think we raised between maybe 8 and 9 in the morning, I don't know, $1,000 or some huge amount of money that she needed to be able to put down to save her house. But that's the kind of person that Carol is, that she will jump on something that needs to be done and do it. I didn't know that she knew Sylvia Metzler, who's here, and Carol has been a supporter of a clinic that Sylvia is involved in Nicaragua. So she has many interests that I was unaware of before today even. But I do know her through the retirees chapter of our union, and she retired, I think, a year after I did. She retired in 2009? 8? 10, okay. Sorry. Anyhow, and she got right in, rolled up her sleeves, and started working at the phone bank and coming to meetings. She's also been extremely involved with going to meetings of the School Reform Commission. It almost makes me want to lose my dinner to say those words, because it's such a horrible organization. It has, as you can tell from the film, they have absolutely no regard for the public whatsoever. And it's becoming more and more apparent, and this is thanks to Carol's work, that they answer only to the right-wing politicians and corporations. Carol was involved with the uncovering of the relationship between some of these foundations that rich people contribute to. Now, mind you, the rich people get tax deductions for their charitable donations. They use those charitable donations to form foundations that influence public policy the way they want it to be influenced. Like, they want schools privatized. They want the money from education to go into the coffers of these horrible, horrible corporations that have nothing really, no regard whatsoever for education, other than to maybe prepare people for menial jobs, for what their needs, and their main focus is profits. And I think that we really owe Carol a round of applause for all of her work, but especially for this. And I hope she'll mention something about it when she comes up here. So Carol, if you... In the interest of making you safer drivers, I'm not going to prolong this by reading what it says to her that it said to everybody else in the certificate. So anyhow, we do love you, and we thank you for everything you've done.
Okay, can you hear me? Because I'm kind of shorter than everybody else.
Stand straight.
I'll stand straight. Okay, is this okay? Basically, I have to say, Ruth, you've got the most beautiful voice. I taught kindergarten and first grade, and we sang all the time. And the kids learned the songs, but they always sang off-key. It was like really embarrassing. It's like, oh, God. Seriously. I really want to thank you for this award. It makes me really somewhat uncomfortable, because I really think it's about the work and about the movement that we're building. I do want to thank my sister, who's kind of reclusive, for coming, and for my sisters and brothers from Friends of Samosco, Olivia Johnson, Ellen Hart, and Joseph Dennis, because that's been a very powerful influence in my life too. And I wanted to start out with a quote from Nelson Mandela. His death kind of saddens us all, but it also gives us a moment in which to really reflect on what his life meant. And the quote I want to start with is, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." And, you know, this man just really knew it, told it, and lived it. So I kind of want to go back to the video that you just saw. It was co-produced by a group that I helped organize about a year ago, not a week ago, called the Alliance for Philadelphia, the Alliance for Philadelphia Public Schools. We're basically building on the shoulders of everybody who's come before us. The effect of corporations in public education has just become much more intense and much more secretive. What I would like to tell you, if you're interested in the video, if you go to MediaMobilizingProject.org, you can download a really, really good discussion guide that they put out, which is a way of looking at the video, taking some of the concepts in it, and ending with, so now that you've heard all this stuff and you've talked about it, what can you do? So it's very action-oriented. The other thing is I put out a yellow paper of resources on the table over there. Please feel free to take one. And the other thing is I have some sign-in sheets. If you would like to get on our listserv or find out more information about us, I'm going to pass them around. Feel free to sign up. Basically, another retired teacher and I, about a year ago, started this organization called the Alliance for Philadelphia Public Schools. We became acutely aware as we were going to the School Reform Commission meetings, or as the fifth grader used to call them, the School Deform Commission meetings, that there's a lot of big money behind the decisions that are getting made in the district. And what happened is the William Penn Foundation wound up making a grant of $15 million to an organization that is really evil, the Philadelphia School Partnership. This is a private nonprofit that was started in 2010. It's basically a way for corporate interests to funnel their money into education. They are blurring all kinds of lines between state and church because they support mostly charter schools, but a lot of Catholic schools, which you need to remember are private schools, but also religious schools, and a few selected district-run schools. Basically what they're doing is they're totally turning our system into an apartheid system between the schools that can qualify to get these grants and schools that are getting nothing. If they really cared about public education, they would be using their money to fund services, they would be fighting for full funding from the state, they would be doing all that, but they're not. They really want to control who gets the money. So basically we saw this happening and we created this organization because we went to the William Penn Foundation. We found out when the board meeting was. And we went there with a letter saying, we demand that you open up to the public and let the public come in and meet with you. Well, they kind of escorted us out and said, yeah, no way. We delivered a letter to the Philadelphia School Partnership, and we haven't heard back from either of them. But what's happened is we have a core group of people who started meeting over the summer, and since then we have really exploded. We have like over 50 people on our listserv. We have 15 to 20 people coming to meetings. We have 2 committees. We have people who are working on this video that was co-produced with the Media Mobilizing Project, and actually has had over 7,000 hits online of people watching it, which is really extraordinary. One of the people who worked on it told us that she wanted to get 100,000 views. I thought, she's crazy, but you know what? She's not. I mean, it's really getting there. The other committee we have is called the Research Committee. We're getting ourselves ready to gear up for a campaign. Our focus is basically on following the money. You have to unmask who these people are who are making the decisions. It's basically investment bankers, philanthropists who call themselves philanthropists, but they're not, because they're using their money to control what's happening. So if you want more information, please feel free to take one of our sheets. We're on Facebook, you can like us. If you send me an email, I will be glad to put you on our listserv and we can fill you in on more of the details. I know the weather's kind of yucky, so I don't really want to go on because I could, because I go to sleep and I wake up so angry every morning. Every time you read the paper, it's like, they didn't do that, did they? I mean, it's just awful what's happening in education. They are still slated, you know, to close more schools, because as the video said, the report suggested closing up to 64 schools. Dr. Height has said it, who's the superintendent, at several meetings, that he's planning on 5 or 6 schools being closed this year. I went up to him about 3 weeks ago at another meeting, and he said, oh yeah, I didn't want to say it publicly. It may be 0, or he may be closing 1 or 2 more schools this year. And I'm like, 1 or 2? What's the point? So the thing is, keep an eye. I'm sure there's going to be an announcement like the day before the winter break, because then everybody disperses and he thinks people won't organize. The thing is, I think that has really shocked the SRC and Dr. Height is the amount of opposition that's been generated. Once people are educated and they find out what's going on, they're really pissed off. And what we need to do is really work with them, because we want that anger to turn into action. So please, take one of our sheets, sign the list that's going on, and stay in touch. We'd love to have your help. Thank you. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I totally forgot. There's an action tomorrow. Tomorrow is the National Day of Action, December 9th. It is going on in like 60 cities across the state. People are starting off 4:30. About 4:30 or 4:45 in front of Governor Corporate's office, which is basically the Bellevue Stratford, the hotel there. And then there are marching to Penn Center, which I believe is 15th and JFK. There's something called the Loop Corporation, which somehow is involved in a lot of funding stuff going on in Chicago. So there's going to be a brief rally at Governor Corporate's headquarters or offices, and then there'll be a larger rally at like 5:15 at Loop, whatever they are, Capitol, at 15th and JFK Boulevard. The other thing I would really encourage you to do is the School Reform Commission meets twice a month. They're meeting, I think, tomorrow's the 9th, December 16th and December 18th. And I would say, if you can, really come down there, because they need to hear from people that don't agree with them. Plus, they live stream it, so you're not only talking to the people who are there, but you're talking to lots of other people who are watching it being live streamed. So it's really valuable. We always have to put obstacles in their path. We have to have a clear vision of what it is we want, but we also have to be roadblocks to them. So, yeah, please feel free to join us, and, the struggle goes on. It's not ending, like Dennis said, It would be nice to wake up one morning and say, oh yeah, schools are all funded, but it's not going to happen unless we all fight for it. So thank you very much for the award.